Captain Sarah Chen stood on the bridge of the Perseverance, watching the tactical display with ice in her veins. 47 Krath warships had materialized from hyperspace, forming a perfect sphere around her lone science vessel. The crimson icons pulsed on the holographic screen like angry hearts, each one representing enough firepower to crack a moon. "Captain," Lieutenant Morrison's voice cracked slightly. "They're hailing us. Put them through." The view screen flickered to life, revealing the chitinous face of a Krath commander. 6 eyes blinked in sequence across its angular skull, mandibles clicking with what the translation matrix rendered as contempt. "Human vessel, you have violated Krath territorial space. Surrender your ship and prepare to be processed." Sarah kept her expression neutral. The Perseverance had been conducting routine stellar cartography on the edge of disputed space. Disputed being the key word. The Krath claimed this entire sector, but 3 other species contested that claim. Humanity, newest to the galactic stage, had been advised to avoid the area entirely. But Sarah had her orders, and those orders came from someone who understood that backing down to bullies only invited more aggression. "Krath Commander," she replied calmly. "We are in neutral space conducting peaceful research. We have no quarrel with your people." The alien's mandibles spread wide in what might have been laughter. "Neutral space? You delude yourself, human. This sector belongs to the Krath Imperium. It has belonged to us for 3,000 of your years. Your species has been spacefaring for barely a century, and you dare contradict us?" Sarah glanced at her tactical officer, Commander James Park, who gave her a subtle nod. He'd been working on something since the Krath arrived. She needed to buy him time. 3,000 years is impressive," Sarah said, injecting false admiration into her tone. "Your civilization must have seen many wonders. Many conflicts." "Indeed." The Krath commander seemed pleased by the flattery. "We have conquered 17 species, absorbed 14 others. Your humanity would make a adequate addition to our labor caste. You are weak individually, but you breed quickly enough to be useful." Behind Sarah, someone gasped. She silenced them with a raised hand. "I'm curious," she continued, her voice conversational. "In all those conflicts, in all those 3,000 years, how many enemies simply vanished?" The Krath commander's eyes narrowed in confusion. "Vanished? Your translation matrix must be malfunctioning. Enemies do not vanish. They surrender, or they are destroyed." "Right," Sarah said softly. "Commander Park, status?" "Ready, Captain." Sarah's smile was cold and sharp. "Then let me introduce you to a human concept we call mutually assured destruction. You see, Commander, humans might be new to space, but we're old hands at war. Very old hands. Your threats are meaningless," the Krath hissed. "One ship cannot stand against our fleet." "You're absolutely correct," Sarah agreed. "One ship can't win this fight, but one ship can end it. Tell me, Commander, what do you know about antimatter?" For the first time, uncertainty flickered across the alien's features. "When humanity first ventured into space," Sarah continued, "we were afraid. Terrified, actually. We knew we'd meet older, stronger civilizations, so we developed insurance policies. The Perseverance isn't just a science vessel. She's a coffin ship. Her entire cargo bay, roughly 60% of her mass, is antimatter, contained in magnetic bottles that require a constant power feed from the bridge." The Krath commander's eyes widened. "If you destroy this ship," Sarah said, her voice dropping to a whisper, "those bottles fail. And when they fail, this entire sector of space becomes a tomb. Not just for us, for all of you. The explosion will be visible from 3 star systems away." "You're bluffing." "No species would be so insane, wouldn't we?" Sarah interrupted. "Let me tell you something about humans, Commander. We're the species that split the atom and immediately used it as a weapon. We're the species that nearly rendered our own homeworld uninhabitable dozens of times and kept going anyway. We're the species that, when faced with extinction, doesn't surrender. We take our enemies with us." She leaned forward, her eyes blazing. "Every human ship that enters disputed space carries the same payload. Every single one. It's not a weapon, Commander. It's a promise. You can kill us, but you'll die too. And when the galaxy investigates what happened here, they'll find a human distress beacon broadcasting one simple message. The Krath fired first." The bridge fell silent. Sarah could hear her own heartbeat thundering in her ears. "You have 30 seconds to withdraw your fleet," she said. "After that, I start shutting down containment systems. Let's see who blinks first." The Krath commander's mandibles worked soundlessly. Sarah watched calculations play across those alien eyes. Military advantage versus complete annihilation. Territorial claims versus survival. 20 seconds. "Captain," Morrison whispered urgently. "Their weapons are charging." 15 seconds. Sarah's hand hovered over the console. She wasn't bluffing. Command had been clear. If humanity showed weakness now, they'd be prey forever. Better to die as lions than live as sheep. 10 seconds. The Krath commander's image flickered. Then with a snarl of rage, he barked orders in his native tongue. On the tactical display, the 47 warships began to move. Not attacking, withdrawing. One by one, they jumped to hyperspace, their crimson icons winking out like dying stars. Within 90 seconds, the Perseverance floated alone in empty space. Morrison let out a breath he'd been holding. "Captain, did we actually have antimatter in the cargo bay?" Sarah turned to him with a slight smile. "Lieutenant, we have 300 tons of rock samples and a malfunctioning coffee maker." "But they didn't know that." Commander Park shook his head in amazement. "That was the most reckless gambit I've ever witnessed." "Maybe," Sarah acknowledged, settling back into her command chair. "But it worked. And now the Krath will think twice before threatening any human vessel. Fear is a better deterrent than any weapon." As the Perseverance set course for home, its distress beacon fell silent. No Krath attack had been recorded. No antimatter had been detonated. But across 47 warships, a new understanding spread through the Krath fleet. Humans were insane, unpredictable, willing to die just to take their enemies with them. It was, Sarah reflected, a reputation worth cultivating. After all, in a galaxy full of predators, sometimes the best survival strategy wasn't being the strongest. It was being the craziest.